Hey guys, it's Isabella James, aka Spiritual Bimbo. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for being here. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. As you can see, I brought another beautiful blonde with me today. We are coming from, where are we? Glenwood Springs, Colorado. Yes. I'll insert some pictures of what's happening outside. And yeah, we're here for a spiritual retreat. We're not going to talk too much about that because, you know, very sacred, very beautiful, healing experience. But we're also some 3D ladies, so we're here to talk about OnlyFans, about growing up in the Midwest, and what is it, the slut to star, the slut to star situation. So I have the beautiful Kitty K here. Yay!
Hi, so I'm Kitty K. I'm actually from Shelbyville, Indiana, which is a super small town in the Midwest, and I grew up in the country. My grandpa's a farmer, so very Midwestern for sure. And yeah, I do OnlyFans like Isabella.
Yeah. And that's actually how we met, is through Telegram. I mentioned that a lot of us ladies do a lot of our networking and stuff on there. So actually, yeah, I forget about this. When I really focused on scaling my business after, I don't know if I've talked about this on this channel, but I had the download from after doing ayahuasca to really focus on OnlyFans, and it would change my life. Hello, definitely did. Hello. And so I ended up joining a coaching group that Kitty was in. So, and it was kind of a whack situation, and basically for 2 months I was like, okay, trust, you know, and doing all these tactics and stuff, and then I was like, there's got to be something else going on. And Kitty was doing pretty well, so I actually reached out to her and I was like, girl, what are you doing different? And that's when we started masterminding together, and we became very close. And then we had some time that we weren't really talking as much, and then we actually met in person for the first time, last time, no, at an OnlyFans more oriented retreat last year. And then talking just on and off and everything, and we've rekindled our romance. So.
Yes, we've rekindled it for sure. It's crazy how everything's come full circle.
Yeah.
We both were, you know, I'm not saying on the bottom, but we were doing well with OnlyFans, but we weren't where we are now.
Exactly.
And so we both just really helped push each other to the top, and it's been insane watching our lives transform together.
Yeah, definitely. Both are featured in Business Insider. I'll provide those links below. So it's been so awesome to just, you know, expand our business and really expand our lives. We actually work with both the same healer therapists, and that's why we ended up here. So that's what's interesting to see
yes.
the full circle, you know, because we haven't been you know, talking every day and stuff like that. Just, you know, how the universe always provides and bring people together again. So I want to hear more about your upbringing and what brought you to the OF fantasy.
So yes, so when I was younger, I was just the nerdy Midwestern girl that loved Pokemon and Zelda.
Yes,
you know,
she's a gamer
shout
girl.
out to the tattoos. So I got bullied a lot in middle school, and honestly, I never felt sexy, I never felt beautiful. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I have found that through doing sex work.
Yes.
It has given me so much confidence.
Yeah, definitely.
And it was just wild because the bullies from my hometown were actually my biggest supporters when I started. They were buying all of my shit. And so, but it was hard at first because Ona Artist, who sells an amazing Instagram course, she was the one who first told me about the slut to star complex.
Okay.
And basically, when you are doing OnlyFans or adult work and you're not making a lot of money, everyone considers you just a slut.
Yep.
But when you start making money and you start being a baller, everyone in your hometown's like, shit, she's a star. How do we get on her level? And so the people that were, you know, talking shit about me behind my back now come to me for advice.
Of course.
So I'm not going to give them any.
Or the bullies are buying your shit.
Yes, or the bullies are buying my content. So everything comes around full circle. Karma never misses anybody. Yeah. And I am just so blessed to be living this life and to bless my family with the finances that I've been given.
Talk about that, how you help your family through the platform.
Yes, so basically I wouldn't say that we were the brokest people. We had food on the table, but we were pretty damn poor. You know, there's a saying of if you're in the middle class, you were sometimes more broke than the people under that because they actually get financial assistance and financial aid. And so it was really tough growing up. You know, my grandma had to buy our clothes because I would go to school and get made fun of for not having new clothes. And so just really just this poverty cycle between my parents. And thankfully, my brothers and I have created empires. All of us. We're all very successful. And then, you know, I gave that blessing back into the family, and it has healed so much, honestly. Really, it has healed so much. Like, we used to be so dysfunctional, and now it's like there's peace there. And that is what I'm the most thankful for.
And that's what a lot of people don't talk about, where it's like, oh yeah, obviously no one wants to have poverty or experience like lack, but like it's really hard to, cause basically like survival and all of that is like the root chakra. So like it's really challenging to be able to want to like excel into the other chakras and like and better your life when like you're literally like trying to survive.
Yes.
So it's like once you like, you know, reach that comfort level, like you are able to be like more self-aware, and that actually like, goes back to like literally cavemen and stuff like that, where it's like, you know, it's like we have like all these things like catered to us to a point, most of us, and so it's like we are able to like analyze all the things, but that's good because it's all about self-awareness and like being conscious and everything like that. So definitely relatable, because even in, you know, we both started in Snap, and we'll get more into that, you know, shout out to the Snap days.
Snap days, ooh.
But, like, I remember there was times that, like, I remember I was dating somebody who was, like, very wealthy, and there was a time I literally didn't have money for food, and it was long distance, I remember, like, saying something to him, and he, like, didn't believe me. He told me later on, he's like, I didn't think you were serious, but like luckily like someone sent me money or whatever. But I was just like, because he's never come from that, you know. He's like, I started from the bottom. I'm like, you've never been hungry,
right?
You know, like you've never not had money for food. I'll be real about that, you know. Like I've lived in motels and shit before, like when I used to dance and stuff like that, and have to work like just to like have a roof over my head in that day. And like that's why I think personally, and I know you can relate with that too, like coming from the struggle, like you are able to like appreciate things on such a different level than people that, you know, obviously know hate towards those who are born into good families and stuff like that, because they have their own struggles. But it's like you have a different appreciation for life when it's like you've come so much from the darkness.
Yeah, and like speaking on that, like college for me was one of the roughest times of my life because I did have to support myself, and like, you know, Isabella was saying, not having money for food, I had to sell some of my textbooks just to buy groceries one week. It was real, and like not having that support and having to support yourself, like a lot of people take their parents' support for granted because there's a lot of people out here that just don't have that.
No, absolutely. All. And even though you've been connected with your families, like you said, like they weren't in a place to provide.
No, they could not support me.
Yeah, and that's how I was even when I was connected with my family. Like I'm not asking y'all for shit. And then like I haven't been connected with my family, and I do have. I think I've expressed on here, I do have a family that is like my foster family. But even when they took me in, I'm like, y'all, like this isn't like your responsibility. And it's actually so funny. Because when I was visiting them sometime recently, I'm always like, hey, do you need anything from the store? And I got Chip, who's like my father figure, I got him some like cantaloupe, and he was like, oh, thank you so much. I was like, Chip, you literally like bought groceries for me for like, you know, a couple, like I've lived with them for like 4 years, you know, so I'm like, it's okay if I get you this cantaloupe, you know what I mean? Like,
right, just giving it back, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So like that's what we were talking about before, like just being able to oh no, what were you down there when we were talking? No, you weren't. So I was talking to some other girls, and they were saying how one of them was saying how they read a book written by a woman, and was saying like, you know, we should all be millionaires, and actually when women do have money, they circulate it in a different way. And no offense, because I know a lot of male listeners out there, but these are just like statistics, and that we're more likely to give back. And one of the other girls was like, I think probably someone actually, she's like, I can't wait till I'm in the place to like have employees and to like to be able to like be like an awesome boss and stuff like that. And it does like give you so much purpose, you know, because we have people doing like our promo and stuff like that helps. Like this is a lot, you know, like shout out to my YouTube editors and stuff, and it feels so good to be able to provide for others and like to circulate that abundance and help.
And I think the biggest part about being blessed is blessing others. Like I don't think I could sleep at night if I was hoarding this all for myself. Like this, like I was given something, and I want to make sure that is received by other people too, just like my family, our employees, just like, tipping people at a restaurant more than you usually would, just blessing it forward. That is what it's about.
Yeah, and also just like living our lives, like we work really hard, like we're on our pages so much, but it's like we're blessed to be able to travel and do that in so many places. And we were talking about that too, like we know some other models that like had, even though they're making so much money, they still have this like scarcity lack mentality. And I mean, I don't know, obviously what they're going through in their whole life, but to me, my reflection of it is like, they're scared because like we're probably not going to be doing this for the rest of our lives, and they just want to like hoard this money. But by doing that, they're paying so much more taxes, and also it's just like creating this this flow of lack, when it should be a flow of abundance, where it's like I'm always going to be taken care of. And it's about the joy frequency, and it's about like living your life, and obviously not spending all your money so it's uncomfortable and it's like, oh my god, but it's okay, like God always provides. But being responsible and showing the universe that like I don't like to use the word deserve, but in a way it's like you deserve to have whatever that you want by focusing on your happiness.
Yeah, believe you deserve it and the universe will serve it.
Yeah.
But you also, and like she said, you gotta be responsible with that too. That doesn't mean just go buck wild and blow all your money,
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you live in that mindset, you create fear, and therefore you will just keep attracting what you're putting out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, let's talk about letting go of people. When we first were talking, we both were in serious relationships that were just, serving us at the time, and then we eventually outgrew them, and it's like the universe literally provides you with like so much more like clarity and support, even if it's kind of like chaotic at first, because I know it's like you're kind of, not to put on them, it's like you're going through like your kind of shift. And when I broke up with my partner last year, it was like that as well. And it's like, even the clarity can be foggy, but it's like, you can't fear letting go of like the comfort, because that's really, especially with relationships and stuff like that, you become so comfortable in the habits and the traveling, and like, they're gonna do this for me, but it's like, are you really happy? That's what you have to ask yourself.
Yeah, and definitely, that was definitely the place I was in, just like a place of like comfort and knowing the routine and knowing that I know this other person and they know me.
Yeah.
And so you can really get, like you can just get lost in the sauce. Yeah, exactly. And you don't want to stay in that comfort zone because there's no growth there.
Yeah.
You have to go through discomfort to grow. So it was finally the time, and I don't regret not doing it sooner, because I finally had the clarity I needed to just be done and not question it.
Yeah.
And so now I'm ready to unravel that part of my life and just move forward to the next step, honestly.
Yeah, and I love that for both of us.
Yes.
Let's talk about your vanilla job that you had and what pushed you into going full into the Schmeck's work.
So I have always been an animal girl my whole life. I wanted to work with animals. So I was a veterinary technician. That's what I went to college for. I was a licensed RVT. I worked at a corporate company, and I had some amazing people that I worked for that I love them to death still. You know who you are. Shout out to you. But I had some very condescending, negative people at that workforce, which, by the way, veterinary medicine is one of the top-rated committing suicide industries. Like, how am I trying to say that? Yes. And there is so much compassion fatigue, and there is so much drama, and there's just so much. You don't get paid a lot, honestly. You don't. Not for what you have to do.
$25,000 a year or something?
I was making $30,000 a year, which still, like, that's just not a lot of money in this economy. Like, let's be honest.
And even in Indiana, where like the cost of living is lower, that's insane.
And I was working for a corporation, so I had the highest ability to go higher and make more money.
Wow.
But you talk about the college loans and everything on top of that, like, it's not shit at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I worked with somebody that at first I really loved them. They were great. And they were a doctor, so they were in a position of power over me.
Yeah.
They found out that I was doing, premium Snap or OnlyFans on the side, which honestly everybody in the clinic knew and accepted. I was such a great worker, and everyone, honestly, they loved me. They loved me beyond that, and I so appreciate them for that, especially my manager. You were like a godsend. You were so kind. But she found out. She was older, and older people have sometimes misconceptions and tendencies.
Kind of stuck in their ways.
And she really was like just like a workplace bully, but not only to me. She was a workplace bully to so many other people. I mean, 2 other people quit because of her.
Wow.
So it was just like, for me though, her and I started off so good, and then there was just that shift where she was, you know, I think one of the things she said to me that really struck me was I was talking to another coworker about how I wanted to find a man with a man bun, which is just, you know what I mean, like that was just something back like 3-4 years ago.
Oh, yeah, that was the thing for sure.
And she goes, oh, will he sell his nudes too? And just like being, you know, being a
passive,
bitch.
Yeah.
And I remember I was also talking another time, I was talking to a coworker and I was saying, I like men that do this or that. And she says, oh, well, I like girls that keep their clothes on.
Shut up.
She did. She said that to me. And I mean, like, her face turned red after she said it because I think she realized, like, holy shit, you just, like, crossed, like, a huge line.
Yeah.
The manager had a talk with her, but that did not keep this woman from acting out. And I honestly, like, I have a lot of compassion towards her because I know what she went through and I know that you have to be in such a bad place to be that cruel to people.
Absolutely.
You really do. Because there was no need for cruelty. I was one of the best workers there.
Yeah.
I came in every day with a smile on my face, and I was taking a pay cut going in there. Every day I had to live with the fact that I could be making more money at home doing, you know, OnlyFans or Snapchat, but instead I'm choosing to be here with these people.
Yeah.
And it was about the time that I consistently hit like $10,000 a month outside of there that I was like, I just made in 3 months what will take me an entire year to make here.
Yeah, how long were you doing both? Like,
so it was, I think, I was doing premium Snapchat, which was okay. It was like, you know, extra $700 a week, which that's good. But it wasn't, you know, like quit money for me.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, definitely.
So I think I did that for a year while I was working there, and then I transitioned into OnlyFans, and that's when I realized I was like, I could be making more money with this, and I'm coming in, I'm taking a pay cut, and I'm being bullied. I'm doing a lot of the physical labor, and I'm getting stuck with a lot of the physical labor because everyone knows that Kitty K is just gonna do it because I want to go home. I don't want to be stuck there milking the clock. Like, I'm ready to go, you know? So it was after she berated me in the surgery suite. I mean, completely just lost her shit. That's when I knew that it was pretty much over from there. Mm-hmm. I knew there was no way that I could keep going into a toxic work environment, sacrificing my mental health and my money at this point. For what? Just because, you know, my family wants me to be a vet tech. You know, I no longer, like, I love that job for what it was, but the compassion is lost when you have to work with those types of people every single day.
Absolutely.
So, I am more than happy that I quit. And like I said, there are so many girls from that clinic that I love to death, and I have no ill feelings for them. I hope they're doing great. But it wasn't for me anymore. It was my time to go.
Yeah, and that's beautiful, and that opened, like, such a big door. And it's like, I'm sure I've mentioned this before, too. We're not like, hey, yeah, you know, if there's girls watching this, or even guys, whoever, you know, do your thing, or theys, or anything. We accept everyone on this channel. We love you all. If you're a cat, meow, we love you, too.
Meow.
But it's not like, okay, I'm just gonna quit my job and go. Like, it's a lot of work, you know. But it's like the fact that you were already like in it, and you're like, okay, I'm, like you said, I made a certain amount of you. I'm like, okay, like this. Why would I be putting myself through this when I could be doing more? And really, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like you said, it brought you a lot more confidence and just like empowerment. To also, it's like not even like the sex work, but it's just like being an entrepreneur. And you know, obviously, it's not for everybody. Not everybody wants that. And like, shout out to the people that are, you know, either working their 9 to 5 still or working for an entrepreneur. Like, we love you, and we all have like our place in our cycle and stuff like that. But if you feel like the call to be on your own and to be an entrepreneur, fucking do it. Like, figure it out. Like, it's gonna be messy, and like, it's always gonna be a learning process. Like, I'm going through a lot of stuff right now with my company that's gonna be like a huge shift, and I'm so grateful for that. But it's like, it's still challenging, you know? And like, that's what it is. It's like, people forget that, like, oh, it's like, oh, it must be so, oh my god, you guys just travel, you have all this money, you do whatever. Like, no, like, it's still challenging every day. There's still things that come up because that's life, and I wouldn't want it any other way, because that's how you learn and you grow, and you truly are able to appreciate us being here on fucking Earth School, man.
I agree 100%. Like, everything that's happened has happened as it has supposed to happen. Everything's happening for you, even the bad things that lead you to where you are now. Like, if she hadn't been so cruel to me, I might have stayed there longer. I might have just toughed it out. So, like, even those people in your life that do you bad, like, let that move you. Let that be your medicine in some way.
Or even, I mean, back in the day, you know, originally I met the partner that I had that kind of, I guess, enabled me into getting to sex work. You know, he made it seem, which I'm sure if you guys watch any of my other things, I've talked about that. You know, but I met him out of, like, literally the first boy that I kissed. Obviously, it was, like, way after. He had passed away from a heroin overdose. I had just gotten fired for the first time ever from my job, and I was in such a fucking dark place. Right. And, you know, frequencies, and of course I'm going to meet this person. He's not going to be, like, a beacon of light because I'm not vibrating at that frequency, you know? Right. So it's, like, and that brought me, and, like, you know, that brought me through a lot of, like, terrible times, but, like, I'm very happy that I went through that because it showed me of, like, oh, yeah, like, sex work can be, like, a very dark, like, terrible place, but also it can be a very beautiful fucking beacon of light and super empowering and, like, very helpful to people. So I am, you know, just grateful for the, as they say, like, the spirals.
Yes,
the spirals around. Yeah, and, like, you're always going to come back to, like, similar situations. Like I shared the other day, I'm like, man, I hope, like, that doesn't mean, like, everything is going to, but that doesn't mean it's not, like, oh, you know, like, if I got fired, I'm gonna get fired. Well, first of all, who the fuck's gonna fire me? Me?
Yeah, right?
You know, but it's, like, it's really about, like, what you learn from the past, like, similar version of that and how you decide to work with it from that point on.
Yeah, I think you meet the same people in different bodies until you learn the lesson and you break that karmic cycle. That's how it is. You will keep attracting that same person because the universe is trying to see, like, are you going to break the cycle?
Yeah.
And it's up to you to break the cycle.
And that's what I was trying to remember to say is that, you know, even when you're vibrating at a higher frequency and say, you know, so you end up dating, like, a narcissist or whatever, or something of that nature, and you're like, wow, like, I'm working so much. Me, okay, so I'm working so much, but it's like there's still parts of us that are vibrating on that frequency, and that's why we're still attracting it, and that's okay. There's always going to be those parts, but it's learning to, you know, dance with your shadow and to, like, really appreciate the, you know, the other side of us. And, you know, like, I always say, like, ego is our amigo. Like, there's no killing the fucking ego. Like, the ego is here to protect us and to serve us, and, like, there's no getting rid of it. So if you're over here like, oh, I need to have like, you do have ego deaths, but it's really delayering yourself and bringing you back to who we truly are, which is just the embodiment of light and love. And it's a journey. Let's just say that for whoever's not on it, and for if you're on it, you already know.
Yes, exactly. I agree 110%. It is a journey, and you have to have grace with yourself. It's not going to happen overnight, but as long as you're focused on progressing and growing, you will get there.
And like, every day, you know, and it's like the saying where it's like, two steps forward, one step back, like, that's still making movement, you know. And it's really just about committing to yourself, even just daily, you know. I've had some people here to be like, wow, like, you're so committed, and I'm like, I've really, like, reflected on that, and I'm like, dude, because, like, I've been on the other side. Like, I've been where, like, I woke up and I fucking just cried, and, like, I literally, and I've shared this before, like, I used to fucking hate myself, and, like, there's still those parts of me that come up, but I'm able to observe it and be like, okay, like, this isn't real, like, this is part of the illusion, and this is something that was, like, conditioned through society and through my upbringing, and, like, that's not, it's like, I love myself, you know, like, I'm like, if you're not gonna love yourself, no one else is going to.
And that's the truth, and that's, like, the hard truth that people, like, sometimes don't understand is, like, you really have to love yourself for someone else to love you, because if you don't love yourself, the types of people that you will attract are not going to love you in the ways that you need to be loved.
Yeah, because they're going to be projecting from their own lack of self-love.
Yes, exactly.
So, unfortunately, we're not going to have a super long interview today because we're going out to eat and we're going to the spa. But what is one last thing you'd like to share with the audience, and we'll definitely bring her back?
Yes, please. Okay, so basically the only thing I'd like to say is, if a nerdy girl in poverty from the Midwest can do it, so can you.
Yes.
That is what I have to say.
Girl, I literally was saying that downstairs to another girl because she's like, wow, like, you really inspire me, and I'm like, thank you. And I'm always so open about my shit because I'm like, dude, if I can come from, like, all the fucking crazy shit that's happened in my life and just, like, the adversity, I'm like, anybody can do it, whether it be business, spirituality, fucking being healthy and shit like that. Like, I've been on the other side of fucking everything, and, like, we all have the power within ourselves to be. Remember, okay, here's the outro. Remember, you can be anything you want to be, so make it good. But where can we find you?
Yes. Agree. Oh, me.
Yeah.
Me, where can we find you? Okay, you can find me on Instagram, Kitty K Lovers. I'm sure something will pop up here.
Yeah, we'll have it.
Kitty K Lovers. And then, of course, I'm on OnlyFans, but we don't really say that on here, do we?
Do you have just a .com though?
Yes, I do. KittyKlovers.com.
Perfect. And we'll have everything linked below. Love you so much. Until next time. We already said it. Remember, you can be anything you want to be, so make it good.
Bye. Bye.